Imagine trusting someone whose job is to protect you, a police officer, your sister, your aunt, only to find out she's secretly plotting your death for insurance money. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we delve into the atrocious crimes of Rosemary Nomia Ndlovu, the South African police officer who turned her family members into paychecks. Rosemary Nomia Ndlovu was born to Maria Motswana and an unnamed father in 1978 in Bushbuckridge, a rural town in Mpumalanga province, South Africa. She grew up in a modest family home surrounded by her siblings and extended relatives. The area, known for its close-knit communities and limited economic opportunities, shaped much of her early life. Despite the challenges of rural living, Rosemary managed to complete her schooling and later moved to Johannesburg in search of better prospects. It was there that she eventually joined the South African Police Service as an officer, a position that would later give her both the means and the access to orchestrate the horrific crimes that would make her one of South Africa's most infamous killers. Where do we begin this atrocious story? Let's begin with her love life. In 2011, she met Maurice Mabaso, her boyfriend. He worked for the US Embassy. Those who knew him described him as a very kind, considerate, and generous man. He was his family's breadwinner. He took care of 13 of his family members alone. They had a relatively normal relationship, argued here and there like any other normal couple, but also had financial struggles. He looked after a mini village. They were both financially doing okay at the time. Maurice worked to take care of his family while Rosemary used her money recklessly on betting and gambling and buying luxurious items. The idea of taking care of her family was so far from her. Now, in 2014, Rosemary fell pregnant and had a first and only child, Maurice Mabaso, fathered by Maurice. You'd think that a baby would bring a couple closer together, but it didn't. It made the relationship between the both of them worse. Maurice was known to leave home to cool off and come back later. So one day at the height of an argument, he left home to cool off and never returned. Rosemary, pretending to be anxious, went to report him as missing to the police. A few days later, his body was discovered on October 14th near Olfantsfontein, north of Johannesburg, on a village path. He had been brutally stabbed 80 times. Of all our victims, Maurice was the one who faced the most painful death. Nothing was taken from him. His wallet, money were all still intact. And this left police and investigators baffled. It was his credit cards that were used to identify him. Now, with such findings, police had no further leads. They just let his death slide. As you can guess, Rosemary cashed 400,000 rands from his insurance policy and an extra amount of money from the US Embassy. It was believed to be around 100,000 rands. Rosemary was known to occasionally convince her family to get insurance. They were poor and didn't have much, but she offered to pay for the insurance policies because she had a well-paying job as a police officer. I wonder, why not use that money to help them in other ways? She went on to file insurance for several of her family members, including her cousin witness Madola Hamu. She confided in his mother that she was so worried for him considering how he lived his life, encouraging the mother to add him to an insurance package. His mother willingly accepted, and then the policy was filed with her consent. Now, the interesting bit is that she listed herself as his wife. Why didn't anyone see this? His mother, his other relatives. Anyway, a few months later in 2012, Hamu disappeared without a trace. His family frantically searched for him, but they had nowhere to start. First, they were poor, and their search would only go so far. Good cousin Rosemary decided to head the manhunt for her lost cousin, assuring the rest of the wider family that she wouldn't rest until Hamu was found and came home. A few days later, sadly, he was found on the side of a village path in Olfantsfontein, just north of Tembisa. An autopsy was conducted and it revealed that the cause of his death was severe blunt force trauma to his head. It was ruled as a homicide, and so that was that. No further investigations were carried out. Hamu was buried in March 2012 and life went on. It's interesting to note that Rosemary was so selfish and driven by greed. She collected insurance from witness but barely contributed anything for his burial. It is reported that she gave his family only 200 rands, about $13, and yet she had cashed out more than 100,000 rands. 1 year later, around June 2013, Rosemary makes a surprising call to her sister, Rosemary Ndlovu. She goes on about how she hasn't seen her in a while and would like to meet with her at her house for a cup of tea. Not thinking anything of it, Audrey says, "Sure, no worries, you're welcome." They had a cup of tea which was laced with poison and possibly dinner together. Rosemary left after clearly knowing what she had done to her sister. The next day she claimed that she had failed to reach her. She kept calling Audrey's phone and leaving messages to seem as though she was so concerned, later asking the police to search for her. It is reported that she even went to check on Audrey and asked neighbors if they had seen her. But they all said to her, "Audrey was last seen yesterday with you, so if anything, you're the one who should know where she is." The neighbors then broke Audrey's door down and, my and behold, she was found laying on the floor, dead. Now, Audrey had taken out insurance policies in her own name while she was obviously still alive, which was a bit fishy considering she was living hand to mouth. The insurance and funeral payouts came to a staggering total of $45,000, and yes, you guessed it. The lottery ticket winner was none other than Constable Rosemary Ndlovu. Another victim's voice silenced forever. No investigations, no interrogation, nothing. In 2014, Rosemary finds a placement at another police station, Tembisa, in the Eastern Rand. She had been a police officer, so it wasn't difficult for her. She quickly got into the hang of things at the new station. Eager to please her new co-workers, she bought them expensive lunches, KFC, McDonald's, you name it. Generous Rosemary was a call away at lunchtime. She was also known to be the go-to person for a quick loan, always eager to loan anyone money. Money you don't work for is easy to give out, huh? On the other hand, she was also known to be quick to anger and easily irritable. She was the kind of person who let the whole office know she was so broke and in need of money, which happened more than once. She was always announcing her empty pockets at each opportunity she got. One would ask, where was the money she was getting from these life insurance policies? She was known to frequent casinos, betting centers, spend it on lunches, expensive and frivolous things. Come June 2016, Rosemary's niece Danielle Mota goes to live with her due to some financial struggles she was going through at the time. One tragic day, she's out and about. She gets hit by a car in Kempton Park. She miraculously survives this accident and ends up in the hospital. After getting checked, the doctors realized she only had bruises. She's okay and is sent home that same day. As you can probably guess, Rosemary is not happy with the outcome. She must have expected worse news. So on her way back, she's plotting and scheming. How can I make the situation work to my advantage? That night, Zanele starts to complain about this throbbing pain in her chest. She's crying and wailing for help. I wonder why Rosemary didn't take her to hospital that night. But she did the next morning. Zanele was unfortunately dead on arrival. When examined, she had internal injuries, fractured ribs, her liver was horribly damaged. And so the question became, how did she get discharged the previous day with such horrible injuries? The answer? She had sustained them when she left the hospital. Doctors asked Constable Rosemary and she was like, I don't know what happened to her. I took her home, brought her here this morning. Don't ask me further questions. Besides, I was at work the whole day. You probably know what I'm going to say next. Zanele had a life insurance policy and her auntie, Rosemary Ndlovu, was once again the beneficiary. She received 120,000 rands. Again, no police investigations. Case closed and quiet. Now, scheming Rosemary thought to herself, who else can I make a victim? She decided to get closer to Mayeni Mashaba. Mayeni was supposed to visit Pretoria for some work, and he told Rosemary about it. She was like, why catch a taxi when I have a car? I'll chauffeur you there. Just let me know when you'll be going out. Mayeni was going to be taken and dropped at a petrol station where he would get a taxi to Pretoria. Surprise, surprise, the next day, good caring Aunt Ndlovu received a surprising call from the police. They had found a body in Orphansfontein, which was Mayeni's Again, she was supposed to be cashing out his life insurance. At this point, the insurance company had had enough of her antics and was a bit suspicious. I mean, who loses this many people repeatedly and is the sole beneficiary of all their payouts? Did they have other relatives? She was listed as Mayani's partner but had no proof of it, so her claim was rejected. You'd think she would stop here. Nope. In fact, it made her more determined. A few months later, her nephew, Brilliant Masheko, disappears, only to be found dead several days later. This time, the police tried to do their job. They went into his phone records and found that the last person he had communicated to and with was his auntie, Rosemary Ndlovu. Rosemary denied these claims and refused the police interrogation. Brilliant had 3 life insurances to his name, with Rosemary listed as his mother and the beneficiary. Once again, with no solid proof of their relationship, the claim was denied by the insurance company. 6 people dead, no investigations, no justice whatsoever. Everything as usual went cold. Then came 2018. Her greed had got a hold of her. She was getting more and more desperate for money, so she decided to enlist the services of a hitman, Jabulo Vincent Kunene. She had arrested him many years ago for possession of a gun. She approached him with an elaborate plan to kill her sister, Gladys Ndlovu, and her 5 children, with her youngest being only 6 months old. Jabulo listened innately and was like, wow. Went back home and pondered over the wicked plan he was supposed to execute and did the proudest thing in this entire story. He went to the police and told them, hey, you need to listen to this. He narrated the whole story to them. Good thing they didn't ignore him. They asked him to be part of an undercover plan to unearth everything. This was the plan. Put a camera in his car. All he had to do was lure Rosemary into the car, have a conversation with her, and catch her giving direct orders to kill her sister and her kids, which she did. He lured her into the car, and she drove Kunene and another undercover cop who was supposed to be another hitman to her sister's home in Bushbuck Ridge. From a safe distance, she showed them her sister's house and gave them an elaborate plan on how everything would be executed. This was successful, and she was filmed giving the most horrific murder instructions. She was immediately arrested. In October 2021, her trial began. Witnesses, colleagues, hitmen, family members all came to testify against her. Rosemary had amassed 1.4 million rands as the total from all the insurance cash out. What was so sad about the trial was the way she appeared. She was so happy, jovial, making jokes, posing for cameras with no regard whatsoever to the victims of her heinous crimes. She was found guilty on all charges: 6 counts of premeditated murder, 4 counts of fraud, 7 incitements to commit murder, and she was sentenced to 6 life sentences. And so Rosemary Ndlovu's story comes to its chilling conclusion. A woman who was sworn to protect, who held the badge of law and order, became a master manipulator of death and greed. 6 lives were stolen, countless families shattered, all for money. Yet in the end, justice caught up with her. The hitman who refused to follow her deadly orders, the cameras that captured her plotting in cold detail. These became the threads that unraveled her web of lies. Rosemary now sits behind bars, sentenced to 6 life terms. A stark reminder that no amount of cunning, no facade of care, and no badge can shield someone from the consequences of their horrific crimes. Even those closest to you can be the most dangerous. The curtain falls, but the lesson lingers. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like these. Please stay safe, stay kind, and stay aware. See you in the next one.